Welcome everyone to Unity on the Lake Shore this Sunday, August 14th. Now let us welcome Amy and Jesse as they lead us in our opening song. And then Mark will give us the opening prayer.
So happy to be with you. Let's rise on up and start our opening song.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere you go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, yeah, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Come on.
This little light of mine, you know that I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Break it down. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yes.
Well, that's a good song for this weekend. Welcome to an early fall. I love it personally, but I do feel for the visitors who are coming, to spend their weekend here. And oh, well, that's their issue, not mine. Let's take a moment and pray. By the way, I'm Reverend Mark, and I'm honored to serve this beautiful community today. As we breathe in, let us also take a moment to appreciate those who serve us, our volunteers today, our board, our wonderful staff, working very hard always to keep our home here a sanctuary. We give thanks to them. We appreciate them. And we allow this appreciation to lift us up to the highest connection, to that flow of life, of love, that which God is and we are. As we allow ourselves to lift off of the physical world and rise up into the spiritual oneness, it is easy to know that we are blessed and we are guided, and that our being together today is not only for ourselves because we make it an offering. We ask the Holy Spirit to extend the love that we share and the miracles that abound in this room, send them out into the one life, to the sonship, to the collective humanity as our gift. Together we say, this is done, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm your host, Roger Arbery. I'm delighted to be here this morning to be with you. And let's wave our hands and a hello to all those who are online or streaming our show. We welcome you to our service. Thanks to Amy and Jesse for their wonderful music. Unity on the Lakeshore is a non-denominational spiritual community anchored in loving acceptance. If you are here with us for the first time, please know that whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. At this time, I've asked Sandy to light the Christ candle. You can read along with me. The statement is on the screen. We light the Christ candle, remembering the Christ in us. Now join me in speaking our vision statement. That's also up on the screen. Every life, a spiritually transformed life. And now our affirmation of faith. There is only one presence and one power as me and as the universe, God, the good, omnipotent. Now we'll join Amy and Jesse again for our congregational song.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you.
Certain times, certain places I visit where the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches and other houses of worship, shrines, favorite places in nature, any destination where I become vividly aware of the divine presence as holy ground. I remember these words from the Prayer for Protection by Unity poet James Dillard Freeman. Wherever I am, God is. The divine presence I know lives within me. It is the true essence of my life, of every life. Today my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. And from Genesis 28:16, then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. We now have another song from Amy and Jesse.
God is where I stand. God is standing strong where I breathe. God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is where I dance. Joy lifts my feet where I live. Beauty's flowing free in and out and through me. As me, where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever.
That is a beautiful voice, isn't it? That's what you call singing like an angel. So grateful for that beautiful song. Also, this line at the end of this is so apropos for, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. That is a perfect launch for the talk today. We're coming to the end of our chakra journey. This week and next week completes it. There are 7 major chakras. Some people say there's lots of different teachings. Some say there's, tens and hundreds of them perhaps. But there's always been the 7 key chakra points that rise up through the energetic spine. Kind of think of it as your spiritual spine. As the physical body has the spine itself, like to think of the energetic spine, the spiritual body, as the place. The chakras are the access points where you can use them with intention to increase your awareness of some of the qualities of oneness that exists within you. You can also use them as a way to release yourself from fears and false beliefs and ideas. If you're new to the series, please go back and go through. We're on the 6th chakra. So we've already gone through 1 through 5, the first being the root chakra, the second being the sacral chakra, the third is the solar plexus, the fourth the heart, the fifth is the throat, and the 6th is the third eye. So I begin with a question. Have you ever said, I don't know what to do here. I feel very lost. I need some guidance. And then someone says to you, ask God, you'll be guided. And you say, I can't hear. I can't hear the voice of God. Many people, I've heard that so many times when I talk about our communication with the divine, our ability to have access to guidance, wisdom, patience, all that you need to be the either the next step or the steps along the way, or just the guidance to be still. It lives inside of us. It says in A Course in Miracles, God speaks to us. That's a complete sentence, so let's breathe that in. God speaks to us. Let us put our mindset into this idea as we move forward. Shall we not speak to God? God is not distant. God makes no attempt to hide from us. Here's the key. You're going to be in trouble. Pay attention. We try to hide from God and suffer from deception. God remains entirely accessible. God loves his creation. So here's the key. We try to hide from God. Why do we try to hide from God, and how do we hide from God? Well, the why is what we continue to give ourselves, or to increase the ability to look at. It is the idea that we believe we are guilty. If you have even an ounce of belief that you're bad, that you did something wrong, there's any judgment whatsoever, that is a disconnection point. So that's why we feel we can't hear God, because if we're sitting in the middle of a problem, consumed by it, certain it's real, and certain we can't get divine guidance, then that very thought, that very idea will disconnect us. But underneath that is some sense of fear, or a sense of unworthiness, or just guilt. Guilt is a pervasive, it's a word used often, but it's something we have to keep humbling ourselves to understand and to keep surrendering. This is where it gets interesting. If you track with me on this one, this is a powerful one. How do we hide? We hide in the belief that we are a body. The moment you believe, and this is trippy, so stay with me. The moment you believe that you are this, the moment you believe that you are the things of the world, the moment you believe you are the suffering, the struggle, the argument, the making things happen, the moment you believe you are the doer, all of these things that you've been just doing every single day in varying degrees, this is the way we hide. And that's such a challenging concept, to surrender. The belief that we are a body. The body itself is neutral, and it can be used as a communication device. It can be used for the most beautiful expressions of love and healing and goodness. But if you identify as it's a cutting off of the connection. And then what happens is, and we all do it in different times, in different ways, we're in this sense that we're a body, which means we're in the body of a problem, which means there's somehow that we're separate. And inside of that, we go, God, come help me. God, come help me. I can't hear God. I can't find God. And the problem is trying to find God and the belief. I have oatmeal all through my teeth because I've been eating those things. It's your fault, Susan. I'm literally like moving around. I'm okay, I think. It's hilarious. They're so good. Where was I? Hiding in the body. So here we are. And then what we do in our natural call out, because you do have a natural call to God, you do. So your natural calling, though, gets misplaced because you're like, God, come get me. God, come here. But that would be as silly as you having a nightmare in the middle of the night and then expecting the waking self to come in the dream and move the pieces of the dream to make the dream work and not harm you. Even a nightmare in the middle of the night is not going to harm you, although you believe it sometimes, don't you? We've all felt that nightmare where we really think we're being harmed. But what happens when you wake up? It's not true. So what was there really to rescue you from? A dream. So now let's move that another layer out, or in, whichever way you think about it. Here I am dreaming I'm separate from God. Here I am dreaming that I'm a body, that there's a problem, that I'm going to die. I've got all these ideas and beliefs that I'm wrapped up in, and I go, hey, God, come here. Come here into this dream and help me here. And God whispers, just let go of the dream. Just let go of the dream and meet me. Now, why doesn't God go into the dream and rescue you? Because it's not real. If there's no problem, then what would a benevolent being respond to? What would be the response to nothing? You've all had, if you've had children, or you've been around children, you've seen them go into a full expression of some drama that isn't real. And so what do? You love them. You hold them, you help them, you serve them, but you don't go into the problem with them. Oh my God, Billy took your bike. Oh my God, Billy's horrible. You don't meet the child there. You love the child out of the problem. That is a loving presence, and that is a God that exists. But it's not a codependent God. It's not a codependent parent who's going to go, oh, you got yourself into quite a pickle. I'll come and get you out. If we did that, just think about this for a moment. If your access point to God was always through the problems that you land yourself in, which it is for a time being, actually, but if that remained your reality, your access point would be to create more suffering, create more suffering, create more suffering. That is a very, very low vibrational way to access love. There's a point where you've got to mature and say, there's a much easier way to get what I need without playing broken, without being in a problem, and then accessing God. So this point that we deceive ourselves, we hide from God in the body and suffer from the deception. So what's the deception? The deception is that there's a problem out there in the world. This is crazy thinking, I know. Even when I'm saying it, I'm like, God, how do I explain this? Here's the point. There's an appearance of a problem in the world. I'm not denying that. But I'm going to get another little oatmeal piece here. It's hilarious. So there is the appearance of a problem in the world, but the solving of the problem is what I'm talking about. And the solving of the problem happens when you back up into your mind, into where the problem comes from. This is spiritual work. Form on form is just a temporary solution. But if you want a permanent experience of freedom, then we have to say, I'm being deceived right now. Because I'm absolutely certain if this thing in the world changes, then it will all be okay. And that hamster wheel, that too happens for a time. And then eventually you start to go, this isn't working. So what's the real problem? I'm done being deceived by the symptoms. I'm ready to go to where the real issue exists. And the moment you back up into that part, into the mind, into the thought system, into the belief system, that is where suddenly you have access. The Holy Spirit lights up, I imagine, with joy. Oh, how can I serve you? How can I help you? I'm here. And you start to hear the voice. This is what the sixth chakra is about. It's about intuition. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing that you're guided and your ability to sense it, feel it, hear it, see it. It moves through the senses, but you begin to listen on the subtle level. The gross level of something moving through the senses is the example of an addict who's face down on the ground and goes, I've got to change my life. That is a gross expression of finally someone going, I can't do this anymore. But as you grow in your awareness of your divinity, as you release your belief of this, you get access to the subtle opportunities to become free. And those subtle changes, this is what's so amazing. One subtle shift in a belief system will extend itself out into your world in all these fantastical ways. And that's when someone's like, what are you doing? People are like, what are you doing? What's happened to you? And you may have just had a little surrender, a little shifting of thought. The Course says, Course in Miracles, and if you understand this lesson that's important, you will realize that to sacrifice the body is to sacrifice nothing. And communication, which must be of the mind, cannot be sacrificed. So the way that we access communication is not in the past, it's not in the future, it's not in the problem. It's in what's called the holy instant. In that divine connection where I and the Father are one. I and the Father principle. I and the law. When I'm in the oneness of that which is the chakras aligned and activated and flowing, when I'm in that flow, that is when suddenly the intuition is turned on and you're able to hear and sense and feel. Moses had a phenomenal holy instant moment called the burning bush. And this is interesting because this is often one of the ways that it happens to people. He was just out there tending to the goats and the sheep and just doing his little farm boy thing. And suddenly, the story goes that there's this burning bush. There's this call to him to come. And it says the bush was on fire, but it wasn't consumed. And he had immediate access to talking to God, to communicating to God. Now, in the world of form, which is where a lot of people are stuck, they're walking around going, where's my burning bush? I'm looking for that billboard. I'm looking for that sign. And those can be helpful, but it's metaphysically where this gets important and interesting. Because the burning bush is like an awakened, enlightened idea. Something that suddenly consumes your attention because the idea is so magnificent, it's so holy. A holy idea, a higher thought, a more loving something captures you and says, this is what's possible. And it can be for yourself. It could be a way to take care of yourself. You get a vision. You get an insight. You have a moment where you see the world working in a beautiful way. These are burning bush moments. But what happens to us, which is what happened to Moses, is the first thing we do is, who, me? Not me. I don't know what that is. Or I can't do that, or negating that. That's what Moses did. He was like, I'm not even a good speaker. He said, send my brother Aaron. You've also done that too. Send them, not me. Make them do this, not me. So we do get inspired thoughts. That's what the burning bush represents. Inspired thought. So inspired, so all-consuming that it captures your whole being. And when you have that, when you make yourself available for that kind of connection, and you listen to it, and you say yes to it, and you allow it to have its way with you, doesn't mean it's going to be easier. But it is your calling. Just like Moses. I don't think he was like, oh, yay, I've been hoping to go talk to the Pharaoh and ask him to set thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are keeping his whole economic system going free. I don't think he was, excited, but he was obedient. He listened to the inspiration. And if we spend most of our time hearing an inspiration and pushing it aside, and hearing an inspiration and pushing it aside, and hearing an inspiration and pushing it aside, what becomes the strong muscle there? Pushing it aside. Not the hearing. The hearing weakens as the ability to go, oh, that's not for me. Oh, I could never do that. Oh, that's crazy. We spend a lifetime minimizing inspiration and then going, I can't hear. Danger, Will Robinson. Thank you, Patrick. This is what so spiritual brings us back to, the inspiration and wisdom might be quieter now because I've been listening to the other voice that isn't true. So now, turning my attention to hear the voice of God, to hear inspiration. This is some work. And we can start small with baby steps. You may be sitting there going, I don't want a Moses burning bush. And that's cool, unless God has a different idea. And by the way, if God has a different idea, that's not separate from you. That's your idea. That's your spirit who made, I really believe this. I'm talking in time, collapsing time. Your spirit says yes to your classroom. Let's put it that way. So everyone has a classroom, and there's certain times when life comes in and goes, it's your turn. We were just talking, Patrick and I were walking dogs. You told me something that was happening to someone that was very dramatic, a cancer diagnosis or this or that. And my head goes to I wouldn't say this to the person, by the way, but I will say to those who in the right place, I said, that's their classroom. It's their turn. And I say that from my heart. It's their turn. And what that means to me is, listen, pay attention, because the guidance will be there. If we open, if we take our focus off of that which appears to be so dramatic and we rise up into the upper room and we begin to listen and open, we hear it all the time. One person gets a cancer diagnosis and they go down the route of chemotherapy and traditional medicine, and they have a healing. The very next person's like, that's none of mine to do. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to go Ayurvedic. I'm going to do. So there's no wrong. It's just what is yours. And when we try to find that with other people's opinions, with other people's thoughts, we start to take that all in. There are times when that can be helpful, but there are times, and you know this too, don't you? There's times where it gets more confusing. Now you've got so many people's thoughts and opinions that you can't find God's voice. Because the voice of your spirit isn't going to argue. And it's not going to debate other people's opinions. It's going to sit quietly and patiently until perhaps you hit another bump where you realize, oh, I've got to go in and listen here. So Moses is directed to go way out of his comfort zone. Again, what was he doing? Taking care of some goat and sheep. What's he now asked to do? To go talk to the king. Hey man, can you let those people go? And he says, this is amazing. I'll teach on this 20 times a year. He says, who the heck am I going to say sent me? I'm insane. I'm standing here in the field. Take the external out. He's having all this inside himself. He's like, this is crazy. Who am I going to say is sending me to do this? And the response is, as many of you know, the response is, I am. I am sent you. I am is the authority. I am is your authority. And as we know, what you attach to your I am becomes your experience. Not your divine reality, but your experience for as long as you are attaching it there. So, very powerful metaphysical teaching there. I am. If you back up your identity and chop off, I am not my job, I am not my body, I am not my gender, I'm not my name, I'm not the things of this world, I'm not my car, I'm not my career, I'm not my degrees, I'm not my roles. If you chop off all the ways that you have attached your I ams, get rid of them all, and you come back and you find that I am. And that's where we get ourselves to. We release all the identifications here, and we open ourselves up to the divine connection. And that's where the listening becomes enlivened. It becomes even loud at times. It becomes the communication that you will begin craving more than the noise of the world. It will become such a beautiful place that feeds you. The problem is twofold, according to the Course in Miracles. Number one, you ask for what you really don't want. And if you're asking for what you really don't want, then you're asking for nothing. Because the only will is God's will, and the goodness of God's will is what you are. So if you're asking amiss, if you will, then that is something that is said in the Course the Holy Spirit isn't even hearing. Because there's a deeper call that is being respected. So if you're wanting some temporary, some illusory, some lie that gives you a moment of, I think life should go this way, then that feels like I'm not being heard. But what's actually happening is you've taken the reins. You've said, I don't like how this is. God, clearly you're not doing a good job, so I'm going to take over. And in that moment of thinking that that's what you can do, you have eased God out. I want this, it has to be this way, it has to be this way. Contract. I can't hear. No, you cannot. So that's one of the things we do. And then the other one is what you desire is good and true and holy, but you're afraid of it. You're afraid of the freedom. You're afraid of the expansion. You're afraid of the who do you think you are. You're afraid of how your relationships might change. You're afraid of how all the comfort things that you have established, how will this shift? How will I be known? What will happen? If your true desire activates fear, then it's not that you won't get it, because you will. It's already been given, but you will impede your ability to listen and hear and follow because you got afraid. That's all. It's like, again, let's go back to the little child who's afraid to get up on the stage or afraid to do something. The parent will take the moment, okay, let them cry, hold them, let them have a moment to feel the fear, to be in the fear, and then wait till they're lifted up to do what they're to do. And this is the loving universe in which we live. If it senses that speaking to you with clarity and answering your prayer, if you will increase fear, it'll just hold for a minute. And it'll let more be known. It will let you become more at peace so that you're receptive. This is more about a vibrational match idea versus a being up there sort of discerning and keeping score. This is more about your vibration. When your vibration becomes, this is good, this is okay, that's when the universe meets you. So it's more about that. So these are our two issues. One, I might be asking amiss, so I've got to be thoughtful and go within and pray and surrender that and see what's here. Or the other is, the universe says, yes, this is a divine appointment, a good thing, or whatever way you want to say it, and between where you are now and it, there's this little pocket of fear. So then this becomes our opportunity. But if we will listen from the standpoint of all is given, I am guided, God does talk to me, there is inspiration in me. If you establish those basic truths, then already your ability and willingness to listen to your intuition and trust it and follow it becomes clearer and clearer to you. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary describes intuition. Metaphysical Bible Dictionary is, I think, probably the best creation of the unity movement. And it says, intuition is the natural knowing capacity, inner knowing, the immediate apprehension of spiritual truth without resort to intellectual means, the wisdom of the heart. It is very much surer in guidance than the head. So it's that part that goes, this is what's true. And it doesn't need to make a pros and cons list. It doesn't need to go from your mental past experience. In fact, it overrides it, because very often our mental filing cabinet of experiences is limiting. And there are many times when it won't point to our greatest possibility. So intuition puts that aside, it puts other voices aside, it puts all aside, and it takes you right into something, the knower that knows. And this is where it comes alive. Now, I want to share my personal story, one of my most profound stories of this, which you may have heard. I was living in LA. I was graduating ministerial school, and I'd just been offered a part-time assistant job in Long Beach, assistant minister, and I always pause there and laugh because I'm like, looking backwards, can you imagine me as anyone's assistant for like 2 minutes? Like, God help them. I'd be like, you want me to do what? So she said no to me because I think she sensed that. And so I was sitting there going, what's my ministry? What am I to do? I came fully willing. My heart was open. I had full desire. These are important components in listening. I want to hear. I even did that. I'm not moving from my meditation chair until I get some divine guidance. And I had my burning bush. Truly. All within me, I saw, sensed, felt, came alive with the vision of the spiritual community that I founded in Chicago in 2003. It came to me in flashes of pictures, in vibration of my body. I was feeling it. I was hearing it. It was a full experience of the vision. And it was so palpable and so undeniable. And this is the gift. It gave me fuel and awareness and a North Star for the work that I was to do. Because it didn't mean it was always easy. When you have a yes for something that pulls you out of your comfort zone, like Moses, whatever that is, it may be a diagnosis, it may be a shifting in relationship. When you have a yes that's greater than where you are, when you're given that knowing, when you can get a North Star glimpse, it's like it pulls you, and it focuses you for when it might get rocky. If you fast forward the story of Moses, they get out into the wilderness, they're free from Egypt, and they're lost, and they're murmuring, and they're complaining. And if I were Moses, I would have given up way before he did. But he kept keeping his eye on the vision. I really believe that that's what steered Moses to guide all of this controversy into alignment. Now take that again inside of you. You have controversy. You have lots of different voices arguing and debating. You're like this spread out. You're the 1,000 people. You're the 1,000 thoughts that are all over the place. And in order for you to know your divinity, to hear the voice, to feel it, it's got to go, and it's all got to come under your command, under the I am. And so it is the North Star in you that will help you not follow this silly voice or not agree with this one or not, you know what I mean? Suddenly, all those crazy thoughts that you've been jumping around and following, you're more centered. The listening is deeper. These calm down and they start to become obedient in the most positive way to the I am. You have all of that inside of you. You are a maker of worlds. You're a maker of worlds. And this is where it happens. And you are divinely guided on how to make the most beautiful, peaceful, loving world inside of you, inside your mind. Yes? So let's do that. Let's take a moment and open up this brow chakra, this third eye chakra. Taking a breath. Taking a moment to let all of these words I've been throwing at you to calm down and relax. Nice, slow, deep breath. Bring your attention to the third eye, the middle of the forehead. Even take your finger and tap on that ever so lightly. It's like a little pressure point, an acupuncture point. And if you'll just tap it gently, you'll feel a tickle. And imagine that the tickle is what is opening up this chakra. And as your attention rises up where the sensation is, and as you allow the sensation to open up the chakra, allow the color of midnight blue, dark blue, to come alive in the center of your forehead. You can lower your hand whenever you like. Now imagine breathing in through the third eye. Lift up your inner eyes above the eyebrows. And just breathe in. And imagine that this chakra is beginning to open. And it's like a disc. So now begin to see it spinning and spinning and spinning faster and faster and faster. Just let your mind imagine. And as it does, the center of the chakra opens like a donut hole. And as we've done in the past weeks, imagine a beam piercing through the back of your head, straight through your forehead, through the chakra and out the front. This is a purifying light. And imagine that it is pulling out all the lies that you've told about your inability to hear, your disconnection from God, your belief that you're a body and why doesn't God come and help you hear. Just allow this white light to pull cords and threads and false ideas and beliefs, releasing you from the lie of the dream that says you're not connected to God. Just imagine this light pulling that out, pulling out any belief that you're guilty, that you're wrong, and releasing you from all of the evidence that you've acquired in your life of where God wasn't there for you and you couldn't hear. You were left alone. Let all of that disappear. Streaming through, pulling out all of the gunk that's in the way. And now imagine that light beginning to contract and go out the back of the head and disappear. And place your attention back on this third eye chakra as it begins to slow down its spinning, slower and slower, until it stops. And just imagine a beautiful dark blue flower. What a fun color. Right in the middle of your forehead that represents this chakra, vibrant, healthy, open. And let us use our I am appropriately to activate and remember the truth. I am divinely guided by the love of God. Imagine that this chakra drinks in this truth. I am divinely guided. I have access to all wisdom, all knowledge. It is mine. It has been given. And my ability to sense, hear, feel, know, intuit is alive. I am willing to take the time to quiet the mind, to release the world, so that I may hear. So that I may hear the life-giving voice of God. So that I may hear the comforting voice of God. So that I may hear the empowering direction of God. So that I may increase my faith in that voice 1,000 million billion times greater than any other voice of fear. Holy Spirit, in this sacred connection, for us here, I humbly ask that our ability to believe in God's guidance, to believe in your voice, to follow it, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, that we may be used by love and just reside in peace. Breathe in. Say yes within yourself. Yes, 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 yes. Imagine this flower, the petals kind of begin to turn in and upon itself like flowers do at night as the sun sets. They just close up a little bit, leaving that opening in the middle so that the flow is constant for you. Begin bringing your awareness back into the room, accepting the gift that this purification is giving you. And so it is. Amen. That was fun. All right, thank you. Hey, before you guys start popping off on that camera there, I'm going to ask a special favor. We've got a fundraiser coming up in 2 weeks. Those of you live streamers, those of you who are enjoying us, you could help us by simply purchasing a ticket to the dance. Most likely, you won't be able to come. That's all right. We'll put up a cardboard image of you or something. No, we won't. But we'll be blessed by your contribution, and we appreciate your support. If we have touched you in any way, we'd appreciate you in turn to support our fundraising. Patrick is putting a link in there. You just click on that. It's only $25. That's easy. That's like, 2 coffees today. Thank you so much for the contribution. And for the rest of you, it is time for us to make our gift offering today. So come forward. Roger will share with you some ways to give. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Let us say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am thankful.
There are a few different ways you can give to our spiritual home. The ushers are passing the basket, and you can give here now. We also have an option to give through text. Send the word give to 616-236-5205. That's 616-236-5205. If it is your first time giving this way, you'll receive a link with instructions. If you've given before through text, then you can simply text a dollar amount to that number, and it goes directly to the account. You can also give online through our website at unityonthelakeshore.org/donations. For those watching online, the link is in the chat section. You can also mail a check to Unity on the Lakeshore, P.O. Box 848, Douglas, Michigan, 49406. We now have another song from Amy and Jesse.
So blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
If you are in need of support, there are a few ways to receive that. First is to email us at unitylakeshore@gmail.com. You can also phone the office at 269-857-8226, and there is always Unity's silent prayer line, which is available 24/7 from Kansas at 816-969-2000. Wednesday evening is prayer and meditation at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is at a new time for the summer, and it's held on Zoom. The Zoom link is on our website, Facebook page, and in our newsletter. Please join us for that. A new book study will begin on Tuesday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. We will continue to meet on Tuesdays. It is held here at Unity and led by Barbara Corcoran. The book that we're going to be starting is by author John Kabat-Zinn, titled Wherever You Go, There You Are. And it's basically various methods for true meditation. There's no community potluck today. I know somebody maybe brought some, we just decided we have so much going on that we'll putting that off because of the other events. We'll announce a future event soon. Next Sunday, August 21st, directly after the service, will be our annual meeting. Please join us as we will go over last year and discuss what we're looking for in the future. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, please do so. This way you can share about all of the great things going on here and engage with others. You can find us at facebook.com/Unity Lakeshore. Are there any first-time guests here with us today? Thank you. Welcome. We're glad to see you. Any other announcements from the community? Okay, now is the time for our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Please feel free to stand or remain seated.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, as always, Unity on the Lakeshore, for having us. It's been a joyful Sunday. Let's close it by declaring that there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much, everybody.